Hmm. Sorry about that, everyone. The title card was lagging for some reason. Jared, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. And well, we're not. Unfortunately, we're not talking about Superman and Scion or the New Direction verse this week. I know that one has gained a lot of momentum,
Hmm.
but we will do follow up. But the main aspect of this series is character focus and where we can go in new directions.
Hmm.
Last week, you saw Deathstroke post Dark Crisis and whether we could make the Slade suit canon and how that would work.
Hmm.
And this week, we're talking about Wallace West Kid Flash. Now, outside of synergy with the Flash show and the Arrowverse, how do you feel about Wallace Ace West?
If there's no outside of this synergy, there's no reason for him to exist. They should not have replaced Wally West with it. I know originally that was not the intention, that was supposed to be Wally West, but when he wasn't acting like Wally West in the new 52, fans freaked out, rightly so. And then DC had to bring in Rebirth and say, okay, this Wally exists now. The classic Wally is back.
I feel like they had to bring back Wally Classic regardless because one, this was the Flash of a generation. He was
Hmm.
already going through character degradation and character assassination since the original Rebirth and Flash Rebirth and Return of Barry Allen in '09.
Hmm.
And not to mention the DCAU alone. Like this again, this was the Flash of a generation. I
This is
think
my Flash.
editorial was going to back down regardless. I'm not saying they're going to pull Superman Reborn. I'm not saying that,
Do not
but
do that.
they definitely were going to bring Wally West back at some point. But they wanted to really get the new fans out there with New 52. It crashed. It pretty much imploded within the span of 5 years, but it was commercially successful for the most part.
It was for the intentions it had. It was successful. The only
I'll
thing,
concede that
the only
as a
thing that
90s kid, I
really
will
that
concede
really killed it, the issue with the new 52 was DCU. That's the issue.
Remember, this is DCYOU, which was a brief initiative
YOU.
post convergence from from fall 2015 to about spring 2016.
It's basically to summarize it in one sentence. Imagine every bad idea put in canon at once.
Oh, so future state before future state.
Yeah, exactly. But so the
Sorry, I
thing
had to
is,
get that in there.
if I were in charge of DC, here's what I would have done. I wouldn't have had both of them existing. I would have done the thing where Wally comes back, that changes the timeline, and then you know how characters like vanish if people forget about them.
Mm-hmm.
That essentially a Wally returning, and by Wally I mean classic Wally, would have officially just cleared everyone's memory of the other Wally, and then he would have vanished.
That's a fair point because he was time displaced by Abracadabra just before Flashpoint occurred.
Hmm. Once again, the only reason why Wallace exists is for synergy with the Flash show. That's it.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
But I mean, if we have to keep him for new direction, okay, so we can work with this because I'm a big believer. There's no such thing as horrible characters. There's just horrible writers. So let's be the awesome writers that we know we are and that DC should hire and fix this character.
All right. Brand plug aside, how could this work? Okay, this is a very simple fix. You reintroduce the classic Wally West a lot earlier because you already have JLA. You have the main Justice League from Origins, and then you have the JLA, which was a countermeasure team. Have classic Wally West return to be a counter to Barry Allen's Flash, as they just, and then also I would say have the post-crisis Clark on that team as well. You know, the play ball, be cordial with the
Mhm.
government, and all
Mhm.
that. Now that he's adjusting as Mr. White,
Yeah.
Wally recognizes Clark because he still has memories from the old timeline,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's where this all pieces together.
Hmm.
And like the only way something like this could have happened is if someone jeopardized the timeline. And if Thawne wasn't pulling one of his crazy schemes, it had to be another speedster who did the unthinkable.
And everyone immediately turns to Barry Allen and he goes, "What?" Remember those memes that came out after the Flashpoint episode arc? That's like, Barry, what did you do? You have like John Wick, Thanos, and like a bunch of other people in the Endgame battle.
That was a good meme. It didn't last very long, but it was a good one. It was a good one. But this if you okay, basically imagine what we got in Rebirth with Flash War. But while he's already in the New 52, you already got good grace with the fans. And through the help of post-crisis Clark as a narrator, Wally figures out everything that Barry did all at once. He
Mm-hmm.
is pissed. He breaks protocol. He speeds into the Hall of Justice. Blitz again. This is the New 52 League. They don't really know Wally like that. He's just a
Mm-hmm.
cosmic anomaly similar to post-crisis Clark. So
Yeah.
Batman doesn't even have contingencies for him yet. Wally just dominates everyone. He's not going to target Lois, because that's still his on at the end of the day.
Damn it.
He's not going to target Iris. He's not going to target Iris because that's still his on. God.
No, he's not. He ain't targeting Iris. No, absolutely not.
No, he's just going to go straight for Barry. Now, New 52 Wallace was, and this is how they meet rather than the whole Lazarus contract thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ace might, try to defend his on, pick a fight with him. Kid, this ain't got nothing to do with you. Just walk away. Just walk away. You're not winning this.
I'm not here for you, kid. I'm here for that guy.
And then Barry gets the realization, like, okay, Wally? Wait, I'm Wally. Kid, I'll explain later. Look, and then he remembers, oh, so when I wiped the timeline, his interactions with Linda, then Jay and Irie. Yeah, Wally has every right to be mad.
Yeah.
And then Wally just
Yeah.
sucker punches him right there.
Yeah, and then Barry's like, I may have deserved that.
Oh, I'm gonna make sure you get everything that's coming to you.
And like Wonder Woman, all of a sudden he's wrapped in the lasso, and then Wonder Woman's like, okay, calm down. Everyone calm down. Let's talk this out like adults. With
Stay
superpowers.
out of this, Diana. You and your
Do I
little
know
boy
you?
don't get to have your fantasy. Maybe even have children someday. I lost everything because of this selfish asshole.
And then Wonder Woman goes, I don't even know who you are.
A little on the nose,
Okay,
but it would have been a little on the nose. Come on, it's a good line though. And then
That works.
and
I
then
like that.
Scion, like you get one chance to stand down, newbie. Look, I get it. This is your timeline. This is your reality. But this is between me and Barry. So unless you don't want me to make you look like a chump in front of your girl with your cape shoved up your ass, I suggest you stay out of this one.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that. And Barry's like, don't worry, I will handle this. This is between speedsters. And then,
but then the JLA arrives because Wally's pissed off right now. He's not taking collateral damage into account. So he pretty much starts a speed storm trying to beat the crap out of Barry. So now the JLA have to intervene.
Clark, they have like they have Vibe who's supposed to fight the Flash, right?
Technically, but outside of disruption powers, I mean, if a speedster changes their frequency, he can negate or phase right through Vibe's attacks.
Okay, good.
Not to mention one good sucker punch. Not to mention one good sucker punch and Vibe is out cold.
True. And here's the thing: there's not much you can do against a speedster.
There's really not. Again, sound disruption, but that's about the most you'd be able to do. I'd say Black Canary was a better pick than Vibe. Again, Arrowverse synergy. But that's neither here or there. And then this is one of the few times since outside the main books that Clark interacts with Scion and the rest of the league. Mm-hmm. Wally, you have every right to be angry. But once you fully cement a new timeline, your memories and your perspective changes with it. Barry probably doesn't even remember what he did. I can't guarantee you and Linda will be together again in this new timeline. But trying to hurt Barry and causing needless destruction isn't gonna change anything. It's not gonna make you feel better. That's what you think, Boy Scout. Wally. No, shove it. Because all you've ever done was play the status quo and put out fires. He was like an uncle to me. He was with my aunt for years, and all the while he never went the extra mile. All because he was too busy brooding over something that happened when he didn't even have powers to fight back. And even then, you could argue that's a paradox. He threw away everything both he and I achieved just to appease a guilty conscience. And I should be sympathetic?
Yeah. I'm getting chills. This is good. I like this.
I'm trying.
Again, DC, hire us. We'll fix your entire line easily.
It's a little melodramatic, but I think I pulled it off.
Well, you have to have a little melodrama in this interaction right now.
Little bit. And then Barry, look, all right, I didn't know what I was doing. but you have to understand, Thawne has been changing the timeline in and out. Uh, You don't get it, Barry. Regardless of Thawne's machinations, what happened to your mother was a fixed point, a personal family tragedy that would set the events in motion for you being chosen by the Speed Force, by the lightning I would have eventually discovered after you disappeared. It was a fixed point. A family tragedy in your parents' home was going to happen regardless of whether your dad did it or not. It was
Oh,
going to happen.
and we can make it so this is when the rest of the league finds out about Flashpoint, and they're like, "Wait a second, you reset the timeline?"
And you thought my contingency plans were bad. That's not,
that
that's not the time.
that works. And then Wonder Woman goes, "Wait a second, how? So you rewrote reality as in."
Okay, the best way I can explain this is that multiverse theory is a bitch. That's literally the best I can explain this.
Okay, yeah. And then no, Batman explains the whole thing because he's Batman. He goes, he
Because
went
he's
back in
Batman.
time, saved his mother, and caused
Paradox
ripples.
occurred. All
Yeah.
hell broke loose. Barry fixed it.
He went back and redid it, and somehow a blue hand like redid things back.
I think this was before the button because the button technically would be in Rebirth, but we would
Okay.
throw a little nugget in there. We
Yes,
would throw
we
a
would.
nugget in there. But okay, Captain Obvious. Barry, I know I can't change what I did, but Wally, can you? No, you don't get to pout and play the victim. You couldn't make peace with it. After everything you gained, the lives you made, the friends, the allies, how many times you saved the world, you saved the multiverse against the Antimatter. All the while, it was never enough for you. You got greedy, and I lost my family because of your fuck up.
And what they could do at this point, as a punishment, they put like a device on Barry that regulates his speed so he can never
Never
again.
break the time barrier again.
Yeah, exactly. So he never reaches that speed again because I'm sure he knows how fast he has to go.
Yeah, but in the original story, he actually had to use the cosmic treadmill. Since then, they've altered it to where he could break the time barrier if he wanted to, but he knows better. He knows
Okay.
better. But
That's
but
why
Wally is
that's why he never went back in time and like deceased or injustice.
no, because he knows the consequence. There's no guarantee it would change anything.
Mm-hmm.
He could risk making the situation much worse. But Wally is at having it. He's completely unhinged. And then this is where Artemis. This is for you Young Justice fans. Artemis comes into play, particularly in a Tigress persona, because I do not know how it can get Secret Agent sidekick to work because that's two completely different niches. And
Sidekick of Green Arrow, he has like 20 of them.
It could work, but I would really have to make an origin video, and even then, I feel like I'd just be ripping off Young Justice if I did.
Because it's pretty much that.
Yeah, he and Roy has a falling out. Artemis takes up the man. Artemis, uses her namesake, and we go from there. Mm-hmm. But she now works with Argus and is rebrands as Tigress after her mom. Don't do this. I know you lost a lot, but don't lose yourself in becoming the villain. I don't have to answer to you or anyone else. This is just to make sure Waller and her lackeys don't leave me alone. Let me know when the next briefing is. And then Wally storms off. Barry, we'll have to take you to Argus to answer a few questions. All right.
And you can make it like they go, this is the JLA go, this is literally the reason why we exist.
I'm sure Steve Trevor would say that right and glance at Scion while doing it.
Yeah, because he's really saying, you dude. That's my other reason I don't like Steve Trevor. He's a vengeful a-hole.
Agent Trevor, you badmouth or resort to any other inappropriate comments on the field, and I'll ground your head to paste personally. Is that a threat, Boy Scout?
And then Batman goes, actually, no, he'll just sick me on you, and trust me, I have contingency plans for you as well.
Look, it's not worth it. Are we really going to risk a PR disaster over a petty dogfight?
And Wonder Woman's like, for the love of gods, just are we doing this again?
Well, you did make a televised reenactment of your wedding on Themyscira. I think anyone would be pissed off in that context.
And then Scion goes, okay, so we've been through this so many times, Steve. Let's just move on.
Actually,
with me, get over it.
Actually, Oliver would say this.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, okay, if we did if we allowed them to have the reenactment, I think Scion would do that. Would agree to do it just as a screw you to screw you. To
Yeah. He would. He would. That Superman would. We can make that. We should keep some angst in this Superman.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. There's not a lot, and then he turns to post-crisis and he goes, "Yeah, I have to have a little bit of me. I have to have a little bit of angst because that's kind of my thing."
And I'm just like, I'm surrounded. And then post-crisis Superman's like, I'm surrounded by children. Welcome to my world.
And then Wonder Woman's like, yeah, I'm 5,000 years old. They're all children.
Huh.
Referencing a Snyder Cut line. There you go.
And then Barry is on like superhero probation where he has to wear a dampener. That way he can never reach time barrier speeds.
And it's shaped like an ankle monitor.
It is. He'd only wear it for like one arc or two until he eventually he breaks out of it at a key moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, okay, you saved the day here. A huge battle took place. We're not going to make you wear the ankle anymore. We're just going to make you sign a legal document that you are never going to resort to that levels of speed again.
And we're going to trust you, Barry, because you've done stuff that makes us trust you. You do this again, we will take your speed completely.
And we have another speedster, so we have the ability to siphon your powers if need be.
So
and after what you put Wally through, he'd do it.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure Wally would love to come back to serve on a Justice League.
And then the issue ends. Well, the arc, I should say. I know we're talking about Wallace West. He doesn't really have a role in this arc outside the first couple issues. But come on, it's a Flash comic with a little It's a Flash JLA and Justice League crossover.
Yeah.
Ace doesn't really have much of a role in this one.
No, he'll have more of a role in the actual Flash book because you know how there's 8,000 Flashes in that one book.
But I feel like
we are Flash.
You had to get that line out, didn't you?
Dude, look at the way these comics are set up and tell me I'm wrong.
The Flash is not an ensemble, though. Why does CW keep it? It never stuck. No.
Even the comics, dude, they turn into an ensemble
to an extent, but that's more of a supporting cast than anything.
Of everyone being speedsters.
There's a Flash family, and then there's Team Flash.
Oh yeah,
I'm just like,
it's a little more cringy for that, and I'm like,
Amply timed, Jared. Amply timed.
I've been saving that one for a long. The cringe. I've been saving that one for a long time.
I bet you have. But okay. So, do we pair Wally and Artemis and just remove the Linda aspect altogether, or do we have a little fun with it and make a love triangle out of it?
We could make a love triangle briefly, but here's the thing. That always bothered me in like the Rebirth comics where he was basically stalking Linda. I feel like at this point he would like move on. He'd
be better, but he'd move on.
Mm-hmm. He's never going to forgive Barry, but he's going to move on.
Yeah, because this is a completely separate version of Linda who deserves her own agency in her own life.
Yeah, he's like, that's not my Linda.
It just wouldn't be the same.
Mm-hmm. And then he gets with Artemis, and again we get the Young Justice thing.
Yeah,
Young Justice.
I feel like we should do a Titans Eternal video as well because if we did an actual Teen Titans and New 52, it would sell a lot better than that Young Justice farce. I can't.
I'm down. We're gonna do that. I have the first 3 arcs of that, and that's easily my least favorite New 52 book. And this is coming from someone that loves the New 52.
The Harvest art was just god awful.
No, and it went Literally nowhere.
I mean, didn't he get killed off in a follow up like a couple months later to
I
prop up
don't
another
know, because
villain?
here's the problem with it. They introduce the Harvest guy and then never do anything. Literally never do anything with him.
Yeah, I just don't remember. All I remember is the Tron suits,
Oh
the
God.
quote unquote canon debut of Artemis, to where I don't even know why she was even included, just for the sake of drama.
Whoever thought that those Tron suits were a good idea
It's
is
not
an
a good
idiot.
look. It's not. I appreciate the nostalgia. I appreciate the added touch, but it's not a good look.
I get that it's supposed to look more futuristic and such, but it looks stupid.
On Bar Centaur, maybe because he's technically from the future or an alternate timeline, it makes sense for him. But
Yeah,
everyone
but
else, it just looks ridiculous.
Con L, by the way, let's not forget about stupid
Oh
Con
Lord.
L.
Just call him Connor Kent. Just call it for what it is. You obviously want Superboy. You don't want the '90s look, but you don't want to go too edgy with what was in Teen Titans
Just
03.
put him back in the way he was in pre-New 52 with the t-shirt and jeans. That's what they did in Titans.
And give him the '90s haircut instead of the bald look buzz cut look they tried to give him.
Give him the Titans haircut, because I still am not a big fan of that 90s haircut.
But we can agree the jacket is cool.
The jacket's cool. I'll give you the jacket. I'll give you the jacket because it's
Okay.
grown on me. It's grown on. The body part is fine. It's the hair that really loses me. And
Okay,
this
that's fair.
Ryu
Because that is a very
Bendis,
dated hairstyle. That is a dated hairstyle.
yeah, and no matter what Nick says, I don't care if it's coming back. It looks stupid.
Not everyone can pull it off.
And
Not
he
everyone can pull it
can't.
off. Hot take. And here thought I brought the heat.
There's a reason why they abandoned that. I got news for you. It
I'm
just
keeping that
doesn't
in, by
work.
the way. I'm not
The
editing that
jacket,
out.
however, the bodysuit and everything, the actual clothing looks badass. It looks freaking badass.
Yeah, but
He
we'll
looks
definitely have
like a
to.
super biker. That's what they should have done if they wanted a super person on a bike rolling across America. Don't take away Clark's powers. Give it to Connell or Connor, whatever the hell you're calling him.
DCU was just a stopgap, was just a delay tactic while they were changing studios, and a lot of crappy and quote unquote non-canon stories were being fished out during that time. You did
Yeah.
have a. The only reason Earth 2 and the Patrick Gleason Robin series were as good as they were because they were ongoings at the time.
Yep, exactly.
But I will say this. I feel like okay, you could make Wally and Artemis work, but you would have to have a really solid execution as to why Wally doesn't go back to Linda, or why we can't just give the fans what they want, just pair him
You
back
could
with Linda
say he
again.
does. You could say he tries to, and like a Justice League or maybe Wonder Woman, because she's like in the premiere romance and everything. She goes, "Listen, I understand. I understand you were with her in the previous timeline, but this is not the same Linda. You can make it. She has a husband and kids now, except do it better than Zeb Wells is doing in Spider-Man, and
The lost love
essentially."
trope, basically.
Yeah, essentially do it. So what? She's happy. She's moved on. You should move on too. This is
Just
not healthy.
just go civilian, have a conversation with her, and just get a vibe. It
Mm-hmm.
might not change anything, but at least you'll have closure.
Mm-hmm. He does so, and he's significantly better.
Yeah, because throwing him in a pocket dimension to talk about his issues was such a good idea, Tom King.
Mm,
Look, I
exactly.
know you defend the storyline. I know it was editorially mandated and Tom King just made the best out of the situation. But you got to admit, the amount of character assassination they put Wally through did not do the story favors.
What I maintain is that if you read it in a vacuum, it's a great book.
Okay.
If you read it in context of the Wally West assassination, it sucks. It sucks.
That's a fair compromise.
When I read it irregardless, and it's the same thing I said in my review. I read it irregardless of what happened to Wally in the previous. Because if I maintain that if what happened to Wally previous to this book had not happened, I think it would have been way better received.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I'm not gonna lie. That's a fair point. But we need to back to our main topic. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like the best way to give Ace something to do is, and I feel like I can find a way to make this work, is he actually goes to Barry and like, Barry, when you created the flashpoint, am I a clone? Be honest with me. No, you're not a clone. From what I remember, Lois didn't have. I mean, Iris. God, I get them confused. Iris didn't have a brother to where he was the way he was. It was a completely different family dynamic, and whoever changed the timeline after me, whoever tampered as I was trying to change things back, you are not a clone. You are your own person. Whether you want to choose to be a hero or not, that's your choice. But if it ever comes to a point where it goes too far, I'll do what I have to do. But outside of that, I'll support you and help you with your powers as long as you let me. And this is a good bonding moment between Barry and Ace.
Yeah, there you go. That works. You can still put the character of Ace to use. It's just we also have to remember to protect Wally. In other words, we're going to be an editorial team that actually respects all the characters.
I don't care if you were doing a synergy, if you were doing synergy with the CW. The original Flash came first. He was the Flash of a generation. Fan expectations already established. You're going to treat this character with respect.
And by the way, don't synergize to the CW. It's a bad idea.
Well, they know that now, but hindsight's 2020.
Well, we would have known that because we would be time travelers going, do not do this. It will not turn out well.
No, no, it's not worth it.
Nope. Do
Not worth
not, do not try and shoehorn like Degel and Felicity into the show, into the comics. It's not going to work.
Okay. Green Arrow was a lesser example. That one was not that bad. All you had to do is pair up him and Black Canary, slowly show them get together, and just have him and Felicity be like
Okay,
a
yeah,
free.
that's
That's an
true.
easy
Because
fix.
here's the thing: when you brought in like Diggle and Felicity, you weren't replacing an already established character that people love.
No, you were just including them.
Which okay, yeah, that one I'm more fine with. This one, I'm like, do not do this. You can have both. How's that? You can have both,
You
but
just got to do it in a respectful way.
Mm-hmm. And the Dio, stop disrespecting Nightwing and Wally.
Okay, Dan DiDio just wasn't a fan of legacy characters. He did
Mm-hmm.
rip off Marvel a lot. Granted, he ripped off Marvel a
Have you
lot.
seen 5G? It's basically all new, all different DC.
Even though
Even though
I
it
got to do it.
failed.
I got to do an explanation video on 5G and all new, all different, because that what Marvel did was a completely different tactic than what Dan DiDio tried to pull. But yeah, he just wasn't a fan of legacy characters. I believe it was while Infinite Crisis was going on, but before Under the Red Hood, he tried to when the nuking of Bloodhaven from Chemo, he tried to have Nightwing killed in that story.
Yeah, I know because I have Under the Red Hood and I was flipping through it and I see that drop and it ends with, wouldn't it be great if Nightwing got killed? And I'm like, no, it wouldn't be.
DiDio, he is the first sidekick, arguably in comics history. You are not winning that fight.
And the
You're not
first
winning.
one to surpass his mentor and
Mentor
become
and
his
grow
own
into his own.
character.
You're not winning that. If you kill off Nightwing, you're gonna piss off so many people in the pop culture zeitgeist. It's not even funny.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
It's almost like pissing off your fans is a bad idea.
Business 101. One of the things not to do.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
that's besides the point. I feel like Ace would really come into his own in Rebirth, but if we establish the scenes in our new direction verse, he would have been received a lot better rather than just a what's the term called? I hear it online all the time. He's more okay. He's not a race swap in the traditional sense. Again, it's synergy with how the Arrowverse and how the Flash show wanted in that actor. It was purely for
There was
synergy
some precedence, in other words.
to an extent, but it was more so synergy than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Well, Ace wouldn't really have too much of a role in the new. Now, if we cover Rebirth proper going into this, then yeah, Ace would have a bit more to do. But he'd be more of a background character, slowly growing into his own.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
As for the character in general, in canon, he's in a better place than what he used to be right now. He's okay. I'm not gonna say he's redundant, but you already have Wally being the main Flash, Barry taking a back seat after he accepted Iris's proposal in 1 Minute War. So I feel like I'm not going to say Barry's going to retire altogether, but he's going to take more of a back seat,
Mm-hmm.
which prompts Wally to be the main Flash and Ace to be Kid Flash.
That's what everyone
Now
wants.
I can make an argument Wallace could just rebrand and do his own thing or get his own code name, but that's neither here or there.
He goes, I will be known as Speedy. Oh, yeah, that's taken.
Kid Mercury? No, no.
Hermes. Whoa. Oh, yeah, that's also taken.
That's also taken. That's also taken. No, I can't use Quicksilver. That's a branding dispute waiting to happen.
Quick Boy.
Okay, now we're just not even trying.
Quick Man.
Isn't that the Australian name for the Flash?
That is? Wait a second. That was just random.
Or is that Flushman? Or that?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's Flushman.
That's strange.
But
it's hilarious.
It's hilarious though. It's hilarious. But we'll work on it. We'll work on it. But I feel like Kid Flash is the safest option right now.
Yeah.
And Now, okay. I just want to show this off right quick. I know I showed this to Jheat earlier on the panel, but let me go ahead and go to screen share. And this one, oh, hold on. I had to set it that way to go for the intro. There we go. Now, in this one, we'll actually cover more because people keep getting confused in the comments. So I will do Jared and I will do a full breakdown video at some point. I can't say this is next week's cover. This is next week's topic. But we will do an explain video further detailing Scion and post-crisis Superman, so you don't get confused. So you and the audience don't get confused.
Yeah.
As for, hold on. I know I incorporated. Okay, once you see this thumbnail, you're probably gonna see how some of this came into this episode as well.
Oh, yeah, because I was thinking when Jheat brought in the JLA and certain characters were referenced, I was like, okay, I see what you're doing.
We're talking about original Wally West because it was gonna come up regardless.
Mm-hmm.
We already covered the Flash and how he ends up on the JLA. We already established New 52 Artemis. Black Canary at now this would probably not come into play until we get to the crossover with Justice League and Flash. Black Canary would get a whole arc to herself and Hawkeye being in. God, I said Hawkeye. God damn it.
Hawkeye? Did you just say Hawkeye?
Yeah, I'm not gonna let that down. But where her and Oliver just are reacquainted with each other. So you'll have that. Will I incorporate DCYOU where Dinah was a pop star? Maybe. I haven't decided yet. Most of DCYOU was terrible, but Black Canary wasn't that bad. So I'm a little iffy on that.
Makes sense. And by the way, from now on my show, I'm going to introduce you as Hawkeye.
Ha, ha, ha. But what do you think of this one, Jared?
Looks good. I can't wait. By the way, that design for Black Canary looks so awesome.
This was not an easy piece to make, not going to lie. This was not an easy piece to make.
By the way, I always liked the new 52 Black Canary suit, how they gave her an actual armor suit instead of I get the jacket and the fishnet stuff. I get the significance of that. I get it. But it was nice for a change.
Yeah, the armor aesthetic could work, when she's going on the field. If you know you're going on a full heavy-duty mission or a full invasion breaks out, I think the armor aesthetic works better practically.
Yeah.
The fishnets is more subtle if you're being more practical, or you're going going camo or incognito, street level. But if you're on a league level team, it's interchangeable. I would make it interchangeable. It just
Yeah, it'd
depends on
be
what.
interchangeable. It'd be like today. I feel like taking this out today. No, no, she's going out on a mission with the Justice League, and she's like, I don't know what to wear. She's like staring in front of her closet, and the two costumes like hanging up.
But I just realized something. If we're setting up Wally and Artemis, she's technically Cheshire's sister. So what if we put no, Roy wouldn't blend well with the GLA. But I feel like Roy would have something to say about Wally dating his baby mama's sister.
True.
This would also be a Young Justice reference. Now, granted,
Yeah.
it was tension. Nothing technically happened. It was pure dynamic tension. Nothing happened in Young Justice. But hey, dude, I know you're readjusting to the new timeline and all, but don't you think it's a little sleazy to go after Artemis like that? What makes you say that? Because she's my baby mama's sister.
And I'm
And
like, but we're not related. So what difference does it make?
I'm not going to let you use my daughter's aunt as your personal rebound. Roy, come on. I know you don't fully trust or remember me because of all these cosmic shenanigans, but you know I would never do something like that. If my memory serves, you spent the latter half of our early days of the Titans being a playboy wannabe. I was an immature jerk, I'll admit that. But I've changed since then. Give me a chance.
Nice.
And that
And then obviously, if we're using Black Canary and Green Arrow, we're gonna do what the New 52 should have done and put them together.
again, there you can use synergy in your work to an extent, but there is such thing as doing too much.
That this is one thing that you do not mess with.
That is true.
It was worse with the Arrow show because they had 3 Black Canaries, all of which Oliver dated briefly.
And it's just pure brand confusion.
And I'm like, okay, why we need 3? There was going to be a show called Green Arrow, and this is Mia Queen, and the Black Canaries. That
Hold
was
on.
the Arrow sequel show.
Hold on. Now this was gonna be for a separate video, but you just reminded me of something. Hold on. Seriously, I've been on fire today. Hold
All
on.
right.
But here it is.
Ah, nice. Oh,
And
wow. Literally, that was like, wow.
Because remember, Hawk did don the mantle for a time in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
He did don
Yeah,
the
he
mantle
did.
of Green Arrow for a time.
He was even on the JLA. What's kind of funny is that when Prometheus is attacking the League and all
Hell
Connor
breaks
has
loose.
is a boxing glove area, he goes, Dad, you're gonna be the death of me. I love that.
And you can see Artemis in the bottom right corner right there. I might actually make this a new direction topic. I thought this was going to be a standalone, but hey, who knows? I might make it a new direction topic.
I like her tigress outfit.
Right? It's nice.
Looks good. A little more than her. I don't know what her. I guess her call sign was Artemis. I don't know.
It's a situation where you actually use your direct. It's the ironic aspect where you use your namesake as your superhero name, but Artemis works because it's a direct connection to mythology.
The only issue is we have an Amazon named Artemis,
but she never interacts with the main hero community like that. She does her own thing, unless we're counting Jason and the Outlaws.
True.
So you can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like by the time Artemis really answered, this is Amazon this is Amazon Artemis from Themyscira. By the time Artemis from Themyscira comes into play, I feel like Artemis would have rebranded by Tigress if she hadn't done it already.
Yeah.
So that's
not. That's what we do in the New Direction universe.
That's an easy fix. That's an easy fix. But
that was like the biggest like small world thing ever. That's gonna go down in New Direction show history right there.
That. But okay, all right. We already established a Flash, JLU, and Justice League crossover. Wallace's insecurities about being a cosmic clone from Flashpoint. We've established canon. You want to talk about original Wally some more? Because I feel like we can do, because if we do the JLA multiverse story, that's going to be purely setting up Rebirth and how they investigate like the Button and Dr. Manhattan and all that. That's going to be, and then with the Earth 2 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if we get the Wally characterization out of the way, that's one less segment to cover. But
Yeah, what we could say to address the Dr. Manhattan stuff is that he's having nightmares of like the blue hand coming at him.
yeah. Yeah, remove the abracadabra stuff and just say, "Oh, Dr. Manhattan plucked me out of here."
Yeah,
Or
there
had
you
me
go.
bound to Speed Force.
He's like some blue, oddly naked being grabbed me out of the timeline and just had me
Left me
somewhere.
left me adrift. Like in some kind of hyper time. Okay, now we're just making stuff up.
Yeah,
Actually, that's a real thing.
it's a real thing.
But
Isn't that how they explain the Elseworlds books when they didn't have a multiverse?
yep.
Which I'm like, okay, so it's an alternate reality, right? You realize
Yeah.
that's a multiverse, right?
Yeah, but they wanted to get away from all the what's Earth 3, Earth 0, Earth 27, Earth 42. Okay, Hypertime does the multiverse concept better because you have canon and you have Elseworlds. And Elseworlds story is based off Hypertime and what an alternate reality where fan expectations low, a self-contained story by all means. But okay, who the hell came up with Omniverse? I'm just gonna say it like
No, you know what it is? It's DC saying we don't want to say what's canon. Make up your own minds. And then you know what the kind of funny? Dark Crisis. They undid the Omniverse. They're like, no, this is stupid.
yeah, I understand the frustration because they've been trying to salvage 5G for the past 2 years, and y'all need to understand.
Maybe I ought to stop.
One, it's a bad idea, and two, all new, all different Marvel was was a little seed, a little breadcrumb to reduce fan expectation, or at least the backlash from it, from when Robbie Downey Jr. and Chris Evans would eventually leave their roles. So you could go the legacy route. Oh, mantle swap, rather than outright recasting those actors.
And I can't emphasize this enough. This is the thing. DC sometimes tries to copy off of Marvel, but they have to understand. All new, all different failed. Miserably failed. Why are you copying their bad ideas?
Well, it's not like Marvel has any good ideas as of late. So it's
lately, I doubt there's anyone even at the wheel at that company.
I feel like Dan DiDio thought he could do all different better. That's the only reason he went with that strategy. Chase some headlines, get some sales off Rage marketing, and who knows? Maybe he could have done the initiative better. But
arguably, he did it worse because at least Marvel got had the other had the previous mantle holders retire or like get knocked out or something.
Yeah, you had a conclusion to the original characters, and to some degree, you didn't have to like it, but at least you got a conclusion.
Yeah, but this one's like, no, it's two Supermen. Since when?
And we are the irony. But here's how we did it. We had New 52 Superman rebrand as Scion from the start.
Mm-hmm.
He's still Superman for all intents and purposes, but Clark is mentoring him. That's the point of post-crisis Superman being there, as a mentor.
And we don't have post-crisis acting at the same time as Scion. Post-crisis is only there to A, mentor Scion, and B, be like the break glass in case of like massive emergencies. He's not doing day-to-day Superman stuff. He's just raising John.
He may team up with the JLA from time to time, but that would be on the most rarest of occasions because you already got Martian Manhunter there.
Yeah, he's like, I'm redundant on this Earth. I'm just going to be there in case you need an extra Superman. That's it. And exactly. And according to the rest of the world, we even gave Scion the black Superman suit as opposed to so they're not using the exact same colors.
We did that. We came up with that in the span of 5 seconds. What makes you think? Do you think the big two wouldn't think of this if editorial mandate was?
And here's another difference. Scion's married to Wonder Woman and not Lois Lane. That at least you could say, okay, so that's the one that's married to Wonder Woman.
You know, there's still a New 52 Lois Lane out there. So,
oh gosh, we may need to do that book. It's short. She dies.
Come on, man.
No, I'm only kidding.
But they did give Lana Lane Well, this is before Clark Scion comes back, but Lana Lane did get superpowers for a while.
It was in Rebirth, I think.
It was it in Rebirth?
I think it was in Rebirth because Rebirth started because that Rebirth #1 shot happened immediately after New 52's death, and then it
Yeah,
went right into Rebirth, and then that's where we got like the radiation from the explosion is how Lois and Lana got powers.
one Lois New 52 Lois went through rejection and so inevitably died from it, and Lana Lane got powers.
But here's why that doesn't make sense though. Okay, why didn't Lana explode? Did they ever explain that properly? Because really, what it looks like, it's very inconsistent.
It's a Captain Adams situation where you have to give Lana a containment suit when she's using her powers on the field in any type of way, at least until she has the mental fortitude to control her powers properly. They basically made her the binary or Captain Marvel of DC.
And no one thought of that when Lois was exploding.
Come on, you have two of the same character. I mean, with Superman you can get away with that, but two Lois Lanes, come on.
No, what I mean is that don't give her power. Well, I'm trying to find ways to differentiate her from the boring Lois Lane.
Didn't the Brainiac Lois thing get undone?
Yeah, it did, unfortunately, because that would be a way to do it.
That would be a way to do it.
Brainiac 6. Or actually, no, that would be Brainiac like 2 or 3 because Brainiac 5 is in the future, right?
Yeah.
I just realized why that doesn't work.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
Don't worry. I salvaged it.
Right. But Brainiac Lois, Brainiac 2. It could work. But
and that's a video for another day. For
a writer would be too tempted to make her a villain. A writer would be too tempted.
Hey! That could work. I'm just saying. She's pissed off at Clark because she sees like she has this life on Clark in an alternate reality, but Clark's Wonder Woman. This is 100% what Lois
you weren't interested in me. Dinah was. That's all. I mean, I get it. You focus too much on your work. That Smith guy never worked out, and you're going through a lot. But this Brainiac program is clouding your mind. Picking a fight with me isn't going to make you feel better.
There you go. This is what we do. There you go. Because that's 100% what Lois Lane would do if she were rejected. She is vengeful, and not.
Looks like I'm making a New Direction Brainiac Lois video.
There you go. And I will be there, of course. But since you talk about the DC character I like the least,
I thought that was Steve Trevor.
She's above Steve Trevor. No. I dislike her more than Steve Trevor is what I'm saying.
Okay, so Lois Lane is redundant, but Steve Trevor is just useless.
Steve Trevor is also redundant because he serves no purpose. And useless. They're both useless to me.
I'm pretty sure Steve Trevor is just a reverse damsel.
Yes, and it doesn't work anymore.
I'll give you that.
Britt had a good point. He worked better in post-crisis when he was a father figure to Diana.
Wait, didn't he get married in the tail end of the Golden Age?
Etta. No. In the Golden Age, he married Diana. Yeah, but after Crisis on Infinite Earths, when it was rebooted, they made it so he was older than Diana. He brought her to man's world, but he married Etta Candy, and he was more of a father figure to Diana.
Okay.
That's where she like dated Tom Tresser or like Nemesis or any of these other like redundant people. In other words, anyone other than Superman, because DC was really was into making you think they like each other, but not doing anything with it because it's DC. Again, they have the potential. They do not execute on that potential.
Hire us, DC.
Hire us, DC, exactly. We'll do a way better job than any of your people will.
But would we make Wallace would we just keep Wallace exclusively on JLA, or would we set the stage for Wally to take over the Flash book?
I would say classic Wally has to take over the Flash book, because here's the thing. That's what fans want.
True.
That's what I want, because he's my Flash. I like Barry, but I like Wally more. And you notice DC knows that the fan base likes Wally more. You know how I know that? They turned Barry into Wally with the jokester.
Yeah, and that's not Barry. Barry's the emotionally stable one, relatively, if we're not counting Flashpoint.
He's the more serious Flash, but they recognize that the fan base wants Wally. We can't just swap them. Let's turn Barry into Wally.
Or give him more Wally-like traits.
Yeah, exactly. Which makes Wally redundant, though. That's the stupid part.
Yeah,
It's like, remember in Scott Snyder's Justice League run, it was literally that team, except for Barry as the Flash. They had the potential to just put Wally on the Justice League.
just put him on there.
Just put him on there.
While Barry patrols Central City and does his thing.
They even did it in Infinite Frontier. This is the one good thing I will give. They had Wally be the main Flash and Barry be the Flash on the Justice League Incarnate.
But here's what I would have done. This is just me now. After everything that's happened, given all the emotional withdrawal and everything in the fallout, what would we call this crossover? I don't want to use Flash War because that'd be
No.
redundant.
Flashpoint 2. No, I'm only kidding. I'm not Marvel. I'm not Marvel. I was trying to be like Marvel Civil War 2.
Flash Reckoning? No, not no.
That actually does sound very good.
Flash Reckoning. Okay.
Flash Vengeance.
All right. All
There you
right.
go. There you go. Flash Vengeance. There you go.
Flash Vengeance. Okay, so after Flash Vengeance, Barry does the only right thing. He goes to Iris, and now, okay, that's too Batman like. Okay, he visits Iris, when they're meeting up like for coffee or something or talking about a
Mm-hmm.
story. And hey, Iris, you're probably not gonna accept this, but I just need to say it. And then he switches to his Flash costume.
Okay.
So
Oh,
this is one of the few continuities where Barry actively tells Iris instead of Iris just figuring it out, get mad at him for a bit, and then they reconcile.
yeah.
It just saves a lot of melodrama down the road.
I thought you were gonna say he tells her about Flashpoint.
Build up to that. Build up to
Okay.
that.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Because you don't want to risk creeping her out because that's a Wally Linda situation.
Oh yeah. That according to DC, Wally is the creepy Flash. You know
Yeah.
that's how DC does stuff.
Yep. But hmm. Okay, Wally's on the JLA. Barry and Iris connect more. Would we get Dawn and Dawn, or is that too soon? Because I feel like if we use them, they would just replace Jay and Irie, and fans would get mad about that.
Mm-hmm. Um, I would do it a little differently. We don't have to repeat the same tropes.
Okay, okay. Well, how would you do it?
How would I handle Dawn and Dawn?
Yeah,
Well, I would just have it where they're off on their own, doing their own stuff. You can even give them a small mini series, like 4 issues, 5 issues, or something like that, just seeing what they were doing, and because I like the dynamic of the two. And now here's the question: would you have the female Dove or the male Dove?
wait. Are we talking about Hawk and Dove or Dawn and Dawn?
I thought you were. I thought that's what you were talking about.
We could do both. We could do both because Dawn and Dawn are the Tornado Twins who were Flash's children who felt
Oh, okay.
abandoned.
Sorry, I got confused. I know who I know who that was.
Okay, but okay, New 52. Well, this is technically going to Rebirth for Titans Hunt, where they did have Hawk and Dove. So adding them in wouldn't be too hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
You just have the original Dove. Okay, you know what? I was saving this, but I might as well show it now.
Oh, another video idea. You have so many. That's a good thing. You come prepared. You're like Batman,
I'm Batman.
and there's no reason to ever say why you compare me to Batman.
Fair point. Fair point. Okay, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here it is. All right, let me go to screen share.
Yep, there you go.
because we had Batman and Robin Eternal, Batman Eternal, Robin Eternal. Well, but in the reintroduction of Spoiler and Stephanie and Cassandra Cain, I feel like a Titans Eternal where you actually have the actual Titans team, where you got Robin, Speedy, Aqualad, Duncan, Wonder Girl, and maybe Wally if we're gonna go the same route that Titans Hunt did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll cover this one at some point because hold on, let me see if I can find it. I might actually. No, it's not on this slot.
But in terms of Wally West kids, I mean, he wouldn't have kids in this timeline because remember, he's not married to Linda.
Well, that's what Artemis is for. If we were to build that up,
I mean, have her be the mother of those kids.
Wally. Yeah,
well, that works. We could do that.
I mean, one's a reporter and the other's a hero. So I feel like Wally and Linda is just a modern retread of Barry and Iris.
And as another retread of Clark and Lois.
To an extent.
Again, they keep repeating the same freaking relationship, which is superhero with reporter.
At least
they even had Batman with Vicky Vale.
That was a brief fling, and there's many reasons why that wouldn't have worked.
But still, it's like they keep pairing superheroes with journalists. The people that you can't trust to keep a secret. What are you doing?
So you acknowledge Heroes in Crisis in a vacuum, but one of your worst character moments for Lois Lane is how she leaked the sanctuary in story.
No, it's not just that. There are plenty of other pre and post Heroes in Crisis moments that made me really strongly dislike that character. The entire New 52, the way she basically treats Diana in post-crisis, and I'll talk about this on my show with Britt. There's so many examples of why Lois Lane is in fact a horrible character that people ignore purely for nostalgia reasons.
Okay, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
It's not but like with Wally. Because with Wally, there's more like good stuff in the around him to say, okay, you know what? I can ignore this.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I know I haven't really made an official video on this, but will we keep Green Lantern essentially the same? Because I feel like if we did a new direction of Green Lantern, I feel like it would be the same as we had before. It would just carry over into the Jeff Johns and EBS run.
The only thing I would do is make it so Blackest Night and Sinestro Corps War didn't happen.
But those were the best storylines in that run.
Yet. Because I want to see two Supermen fight the Sinestro Corps.
Okay, that's a fair point. That's a fair comment.
I'm not saying don't do them at all. I'm saying don't make it so they already happened. Because that doesn't make sense. Because we can do a new 52 version of those storylines. Because, those storylines are amazing. We're not doing those. In fact, that could be a new direction.
A new direction Green Lantern episode. Okay.
There you go.
I'll have to get the thumbnail made, but I think that's a good idea. And we did talk about in the God War episode where we covered the God War arc, Batman being impacted by the marriage of Scion and Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Could that lead to Batcat or something similar?
Him actually following through on the marriage of him and Catwoman? Yeah.
Now we are covering a new direction episode. What if 5G didn't happen, which would include that plot point. But I feel like making an actual new direction versus episode revolving Batcat, it would just be redundant because we were going to do that in the 5G video anyway.
Mm-hmm. So, I have another idea for a new direction. You ready? What if Bendis never got Superman?
We got to save that one for a special episode.
That's being saved for a very special episode because guess what? it would be way better. Tevye is gonna love that one.
What? How come it took 3 episodes to come up with this?
I know, right? What if Bendis never got Superman? I know, right? What if Bendis never came to DC? We'll expand it. You don't have Ginny Hacks. You don't have You don't have any of the redundant characters they try to shoehorn onto the Justice League. I'm looking at you, Naomi.
Okay, now, regardless of the age up and the Superman run, a lot of it was made redundant because of the setup for 5G anyway. So most of Bendis's damage was making Clark go public and the John Kent age up. That was it.
His
Those are the
entire
most.
run was damaging.
Oh god, it was subpar. Not gonna lie. I mean, come on, but we know Bendis. Bendis has fallen off since 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, he still has status and he still has a good name in the industry, but his quality is nowhere near what it used to be. Civil War 2 was perfect proof of that.
He would come in, we'd be interviewing him, would say, Brian, what books do you want to do? I want to do Superman. No.
No, absolutely
We
not.
already have a good thing going with Superman. We're not going to screw with that. We even introduced we even have 2 Superman. We are not letting you screw with that. You can take a nice street level character like Batwoman.
All right, I'll do a compromise. You get a Scion miniseries.
No. It
was a joke. It was a joke.
I don't want him touching my Superman. No, dude, Jheat, if this were my show, I'd be playing the "Why did you say that name" thing. Oh my gosh, dude, that was just cruel.
Worth it.
This is gonna be from a guy that made a Wonder Bat song.
I could sing it right now if I wanted to.
But my point is, we could give him like Green Arrow, or like give him a small book where he's not going to have that much impact, and say you won't.
He does work better with street level. Not going to lie, his best work was with street level.
Street level. Renee Montoya.
Wouldn't that just be another Gotham Central?
Yeah.
He could do it though. Not going to lie.
He could. Street level. You don't get Superman because we're not going to.
That was too high of a bar. I wouldn't.
We're not going to destroy because to a certain degree, granted, Superman's sales were never at the level of Superman Wonder Woman, and I talked about this on an 102 Capes episode.
It was never going to hit Super Wonder numbers,
but it was still good enough. It was better than Bendis. Let me put
the quality was there.
They still had something going.
Yeah, but I feel like the only reason they caved to Bendis's demand, 1, to secure the commission, and 2, because they were gonna make his work redundant with 5G anyway. They just weren't gonna publicly fire him or disassociate with him or anything like that.
Oh, I would too, and I would put in the back of the books. You know how they had that Bendis is coming thing? I would put an ad in the book, a double page spread that Superman waving, and it says Bendis.
Bye, Bendis.
It says Bendis is leaving. That's what it is.
I feel like the only reason the editorial didn't let that happen because even from a PR standpoint, that's just a dick move.
No, I would do it, particularly if everything he did was Superman, because he came to Superman. They expected it would be like this big sales boost. It did the complete opposite. He literally contributed nothing of value to DC, and this is like confirmed by the fan base. So I would say bye.
But his performance review would already reflect that. I feel like actively publishing a Bendis is leaving banner would just add salt to the wound. Because come on, you still have to maintain relation with these people. Sure, as fans, it's cathartic, but from a business standpoint, it's just a dick move.
Yeah, it could be just me because a lot of writers, as they leave, like T. Franklin, Fitz Martin, I'd be like, bye.
Oh, some of them do deserve that. Not gonna lie,
Fitz Martin, I would put that in there. I would be like, bye.
Goodbye. And
let the door hit you on the way out.
And Fitz Martin, your YAs and light novels, they're decent. The superhero genre isn't for everybody.
I would say stay on the YA. Tom Taylor, I will put you in charge of the Elseworlds. You will be the Elseworlds dude for DC. We have complete freedom. Do whatever you want. That's totally fine.
As long as the story's good, no one's going to care.
Yeah, that's where you excel. And you know what? 100% that's your area.
And some say, yeah, it's lower fan expectation, but you're not really being challenged as a writer. You're just getting away with it because of your talent and your... Okay, first of all, Tom Taylor can't do main continuity to save his life. Play to your strengths because it's either going to drag or the story's going to derail. Because
or you're going to make a change that's going to piss off the fan base.
Wait,
or divide the fan base at least.
Okay, you had the retcon with Tony Zuko's daughter being Nightwing's half-sister.
God, I didn't know about that. Oh.
This wouldn't be the first time they tried to do that and make that stick. They tried it pre-Flashpoint too.
Wipe it with another flashpoint. That is so stupid.
Hey, they had to get the daughter. They had to get the daughter of the quote unquote. I think she was the. She became. I know
I'm
she
gonna
became the
talk
mayor.
to. We have to talk to Nick about this and see if he likes that. Jeez. I can imagine Nick's reaction to that. Oh, jeez.
Seriously, I don't know how. I don't know. I think I could see the future or something because I had so many thumbnails made.
It's amazing. You probably have precognition, Jheat.
Probably. But hold on. Where is it? Where is it? It's an old one. I had this one sitting for a minute because I was kind of dreading this one, but I feel like it's a good time to show it off. Now I don't know whether this is going to be a new direction episode, but it was definitely going to be a retrospective where I look back on the issue, where I look back at the storyline.
Mm-hmm. Oh
And
God. All right.
and and fun fact, night according to an alleged according to Tom Taylor's tweet, he allegedly had a completely different pitch where Tim was going to take over the Nightwing name for a time, be more tech based with the new 52 with essentially the red costume, and that
Which I love.
while and the Rick saga was only going to be like a mini series, 6 to 12 issues. Nightwing gets the Richard gets the mantle back at the end, and then Tim rebrands again. This time going like by Red Wing or Red Bird, something like that. And I
No,
feel
it's
like
not
that
bothered
could
again.
work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, definitely would have been better than what we got. Don't get me wrong, because the Rick Grayson arc was very dragged out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was there because we need to create this divide in the Bat family to cement Damian being delusioned by Bruce and turning to the dark side for 5G. But if we kill Nightwing, we're just ripping off Injustice, especially given the fact that it's the same writer on the Nightwing book.
Mm-hmm.
But if we off Catwoman, Selena, we're fridging the female interest or female lead
Oh,
who
no.
has a comic of her own. Alfred was just a healthy compromise. I hate how Alfred went out, but given editorial mandate at the time, offing Alfred was a compromise. I'm not saying it
Okay.
was a good one, but it was a compromise.
If 5G didn't happen, we would tell him we were not killing Alfred.
Oh yes, when we get to that video, this is not happening.
Basically, the last like 5 years of DC, imagine that being wiped away. Completely wiped out.
So I agree. I agree. We're right back in 2018, early 2019. And I'm just like, I feel like the only real problem we would have is the Teen Titans Adam Glass run because the majority of that relaunch
What if Adam Glass never was on Teen Titans?
okay. That's a Tevia pipe dream episode.
I know.
But
No. Do you know what's the real Tevye pipe dream? What if they de-age John Kent?
that's actually That's actually more likely than you think.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because this is either going to be one or two scenarios with the Adventures of John Kent series. Scenario one, you reboot the Injustice line and have him stay on that Earth, shelving him completely. Or two, you take a high risk, high reward move, de-age John at the end, and give him his childhood back. Because they're trying to bait and sell the book with Super Sons. Like they are baiting hard with
Yeah,
that.
they are.
And I'm just like, if you're gonna put that much trying to sell a pity series, at least give the fans some catharsis by having John de-aged. This
True.
and then will in turn lead to John and Jay breaking up, and maybe some accusations, given the fact that John was technically a man child being taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, has everyone just forgotten that? Because in context, John was only grown physically. We have no implication that John has emotionally or mentally matured after what Ultraman did to him.
Yeah.
And they already threw the Ultraman plot point away because if you've read issue 2,
They just threw it away.
yeah. If they don't want to risk pissing off Twitter, I would just shelve John altogether. But if you
They could just do that without pissing on Twitter, saying no, he still exists. He's on Injustice Earth, and he's gonna stay there. And then watch the Injustice comic start up, and he's nowhere to be found.
never to be seen again. But he does. Okay, you do have the brand of Super Sons from the animated movie. You do have some momentum with him. It's just not the way he is now. Most of that momentum is with Super Sons and when he's a kid.
It's
It's not.
DC's own fault for continuing to come out with Super Son stuff.
It was their own fault. It was their own fault. And if you really wanted a next gen Superman so badly, just use Connor. Why the hell would you use?
Literally, you have a character that has been there for the beginning.
I see why they didn't do it.
Why?
Because I'm not naming names, but some creators, if we're gonna go with what they originally were going to do with Future State and 5G Justice Vanguard or Justice Alliance, Connor would have been retconned to be a certain type of way, and Tim Con shippers would have gotten their
Oh no!
a fate worse than death. Yep. What?
In other words,
this was
and that fate is Megan Fitzmartin writes it.
Yep. This was a blessing in disguise. What we got now is a blessing in disguise.
I'm like, okay, now that you mention it, I'm like, I'll take this.
Yep, I'll take it. Yeah, we're gonna lose. Yeah, this is a new character. It's a blank slate. If it doesn't work, we can easily backtrack it. No, we are not. No, we are not dipping into that. No, no, I'm not. No, we're not risking it. I wouldn't do it at all, me personally.
Oh, you know what's kind of funny? If we do our what if Bendis never came to DC? You know what? You know what? The other effects of that. DeConnick doesn't come to DC because he was the one. All these other BS creators don't come to DC because he was why they came in. He brought them in. So you realize how much DC improves? So many BS. The Aquaman book is good again. Do a Dan Abnett's run on Aquaman. No, but do you realize the second and third order effects that has? Speaking of ripples in the timeline, we call it the Bendis point.
A little on the nose, but it's workable. It's workable.
No, but do you realize what this means? So many other books that he wasn't even involved in get better.
You know what? Just for that, I'm just gonna see how this plays.
Jeez. Oh my gosh, because you don't have DeConnick. So many writers you don't get. And we'll save this for that actual episode because that needs to be like his entire episode.
This is gonna be in the title, Bendis point.
That has to be it. That has to be it.
Oh man.
Did you see, by the way, Master Sergeant in the stream yesterday had this hilarious thing. This pun on Bendis. I'm pulling up the episode so I can see.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's
I don't mind.
So funny. Hang on, because we got talking about that person again, as we know.
That we do.
Where is it? We always have to. When we're talking about Superman, it's impossible not to talk about that individual.
We do.
I'm trying to find that comment because it was so funny. Hang on, save cats. Hang on. It was either Master Sergeant or Brown Destroyer. Either of those guys had one of the best ideas ever. Well, it's not the best idea. It's one of the best puns ever. Let's see, where was it? Well, basically, what he said is that he goes, "Oh, we have this fantastic new writer from DC. His name is Ryan Heichel, and then Stratus." They tried to make another version of Bendis. Hey, I'm trying to find the exact comment because it was so good.
That's a good one. I wish I could see the whole thing, but that is a good one.
Hang on, I'm trying to find it. I know someone. Oh, here we go. They could have a hack. So the context. We were talking about a Superman game and what that would look like, and we want to say like if we could get like a cameo DLC by like Zack Snyder, and like he's pitching Superman, Man of Steel. But the point is that you know how they had like Stan Lee cameo in the Spider-Man game.
Oh, okay.
So Dave the Impaler said they could have a hack comic writer who accidentally blinds Superman with his bald head during a battle. Ryan Mitchell Stratus.
Hold on. I gotta type something in the private chat. Give me a second. This is too good to pass up.
Yeah, I know. That was so good. Yeah, that was one of the best thing. That was what that was the. We have fantastic commenters at Comics League. Jesus. Oh my gosh.
Nick,
Yeah.
I couldn't resist. I couldn't
Yeah.
resist. Oh man. Oh man. Oh.
Yeah. But that's the point, Bendis' point. That just looks so good. Nick is gonna love this with his puns.
Oh yeah, Nick's gonna have a field day in the comment section.
This is gonna be so much fun. That has to be that has to be a new direction. What if Bendis never came to DC and we see like all the ripples?
So much in the past 5 to 7 years
is gone.
Like seriously, I'm actually
gone.
thinking about this.
It's
so much could have been avoided.
I know, right? What if he never came to DC? So much BS doesn't happen. We don't even have the Drake thing. We don't have the poop suit.
Well, I will give Bendis this. He did make an attempt to give Tim Drake a rebrand.
But we don't have the stupid identity. We don't have.
Oh, it was stupid. Don't get me wrong.
We don't have the Wonder Twins coming back and having orgies.
Didn't they insinuate some type of incest in that?
Yeah, 100% they did.
Yeah, I thought I imagined that.
We don't have the entire Superman run. We don't have Rogol Zar. We don't even have let's see what else. We don't have the Justice League run, the stupid Justice League run.
We also don't have the Wonder Comics line, Young Justice 2019, which wasn't bad.
No, it was just
bad. It played too much into nostalgia.
Kind of. We don't have Connor in the stupid 90s hair. I would allow him to have the jacket. That's fine with that. I would allow that. But and before you say we wouldn't have the Zack Snyder's Justice League variant covers, they would have just picked another book for that. That was going to happen regardless of Brian Michael Bendis.
That's a fair point.
And that's the only reason why I bought 3 of that first issue. I haven't read them. They're behind glass right now. But yes, it's astounding because it literally just came because he brought Taconic to DC. That means that the Aquaman books are saved as well. So much is saved. Oh, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. Fine, we won't hire you.
You've been waiting on that one, haven't you?
Yes. As a fan of the Rebirth Aquaman books, I'm like, yeah.
Wait, but would you change Aquaman's lightly list to look more like Jason Momoa due to synergy?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't expect you to admit that.
That improves his look so much. Beard, long hair, tattoos, it works.
A lot of OGs would disagree with you on that.
But what's the version of Jason Momoa that's popular?
Now, to be fair, New 52 Aquaman was pretty solid too.
Yeah, that was good too. It's just also, I just like Aquaman with no. It's not even like it, at least with the long hair and the beard. It's not even like Jason Momoa. It's 90s Aquaman.
That is true.
I'm playing into those nostalgia. We're not going to give him the hook hand.
I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Why not give him the hook hand? If you're not going to make him look like Namor or Jason Momoa, giving him the hook hand would be like...
No, we are going to make him look like Jason. He's going to have the tattoos and everything.
Okay.
We'll keep the blonde hair and everything because that's like a change that's like has no reason. The only way he'll look exactly like Jason Momoa is in a variant cover because they did do that. But that's it.
Okay.
But yeah, we have to look up a list of creators that came to DC because of Bendis and see if they improved their books or didn't improve it, and we'll talk about it on this episode.
We'll definitely have to look into that. But I feel like Cyborg would just be nothing but pure expedition dump. Like even if we factor New Direction or the Direction verse, Cyborg would virtually have nothing to do other than trying to keep Scion from doing something stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like, dude, I get it. Just calm down. And the Superman and Wonder Woman book, because that would continue, not with Tomasi writing it, but with Charles Soule.
So are we rebranding it as Scion and Wonder Woman, or are we just going to call it Superman and Wonder
Woman?
Scion,
Wonder Woman, whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is that the thing of that book is her like basic is her like basically reconciling having another Superman, but in the world, but also like but also like helping him learn how to be a better hero.
True. And
And
I
again,
okay,
I know I said this before. I have to say this again. Tomasi doesn't write this book.
you are not gonna let that go, are you,
No,
buddy?
I am not. And Britt and I will talk about that because there's a reason why there's a quality drop off, and there's all of a sudden story points go nowhere when he takes over that book.
Yeah, editorial caved on that one. Not gonna lie.
And they caved on something that was selling. It's not like the book was bombing and they caved, because then I could understand that. No, it was selling. And when you look at like Superman and Lois, guess what?
Lois,
That book,
I think it was called Lois and Clark.
whatever, that book bombed. 30,000 sales. If that was the direction, if that was the new direction they were supposed to go with Superman, you would, and the fans really wanted that, you would think you would see like better sales than 35,000.
I feel like if it had done something akin to what we're doing with Superman Scion together, I could at least see Lois and Clark getting bumped up to like 50,
Oh yeah,
65.
it would have, because here's the thing, that was seen as intentionally metal fingering the fans.
Not to mention, Lois and Clark was kind of slice of life for the most part. There was hardly any action.
But again, it could, even the Rebirth Superman book, but by the way, the Trinity would still be Scion, Batman, and Wonder Woman. It would still be that one. But the point is, you would still have, because I imagine actually we've never had a Trinity book where Superman and Wonder Woman were together.
Last one I'm gonna show. I promise.
And the wedding event, by the way, the only tie-ins we're gonna have are the Superman, Wonder Woman, and maybe Batman, because this can be when he decides to go through with the wedding with Selena.
Yeah, I feel like that would carry over in Rebirth regardless. I don't see that within the confines of the New 52. I
Plus,
don't.
again, if we do our what if 5G never happened, that's another one where it has so many side effects of the DTC editorial. It's astounding how if you change one thing, so much stuff changes.
And we will talk about this at some point. I can't say we'll do this in the future. I mean, we'll do this right away, but we will talk about this at some point.
I think it's safe to say we're not going to merge them.
That's a fair point.
Here's what we do. I'll give you a little preview. Here's an idea, since you have Doomsday there. We kill post-crisis Superman.
Okay, so we're just gonna rip off the death of Superman?
No, but we say he now is fully passing on the mantle to Scion. He goes, "You're ready. You don't need me anymore. You are ready."
Okay, I got an idea, but it's a little ballsy. I got an idea. All right, we get the parody. God, that is such a terrible name. God,
I know. It's like, oh, I knew just as soon as you said Para, I was like, oh no. Again, Batman clip. Why did you say that name?
We need to come up with a new name for them because that's too corny. That's too corny.
Hybrid parademons. How's that?
Hybrid. Okay, hybrid.
Or parademon hybrids. How's that?
Okay, parademon hybrid. Thank you. Parademon hybrids with Doomsday's DNA, and Darkseid just unleashes. And okay, they're technically an experiment. What we saw in God War, that was a contained prototype with just infused with Doomsday DNA.
Yeah.
The hybrids are direct clones of Doomsday infused with their parademon process. So they're completely unhinged. Like basically what they are in the Dekamu, where it's just a mindless assassin.
Yeah, and they send them. They win the day. Superman dies.
But I feel like we could tie this into tie this into what's it called? Death metal. Death metal. Thank you. Into death metal, where because Superboy Prime gets his redemption in that book, and we could kind of have it be a role reversal where because again, post Superboy Prime killed Golden Age Superman in that book, literally beat him to death. So I feel like, but I don't really see Superboy Prime just snapping again. I don't see it. Maybe against Perpetua or even the Darkest Night, something like that. And Superboy, and Superboy Prime, gets a hit in.
Or here's what we can do for a nice little moment for Scion. He flies into you think he's going to die. He says his goodbye to his wife. He says goodbye to the League. Flies right into the middle of the Parademon army and unleashes a massive solar flare, which vaporizes them. He's still alive. He's like in a coma, per se. He's still alive. He doesn't die, and he comes back. We're just saying that for right now, he's in a coma.
That could work.
And that would carry into the Wonder Woman book, her dealing with the fact that her husband's in a coma.
And how she's a mom now with Hippolyta. I wouldn't call her Trinity yet because she's still a little girl. I wouldn't call her Trinity yet.
I probably would not call her Trinity, period.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But
that's stupid. Why are you calling one person Trinity? Besides, say someone in that book has to say Trinity. Help! Someone has to say that once, please, Tom King.
I feel like that would be such a ball drop if no one says that at least once.
I know. Come on. Or at least someone makes a Matrix reference in some way.
But yeah. Now that you mention it, putting Scion, you're technically shelving Scion after everything that's happened, but
he'll only be there for like an arc or so in a coma. It's not going to be like a main. It's not going to be like a thing that carries through the entire line for like a long time.
But what do we do with post-crisis Superman? Because we know because Scion gets out of his coma, Clark officially passes the mantle. Does he retire? Does he?
I say he retires because at this point he is Superman. At this point, and he's like, my job is done. I'm gonna go raise John. If you need me in case there's any like big threats, I'll be there. But I'm done. And then we rebrand Scion back to Superman.
And then we can put post-crisis Superman back in the black suit occasionally, just to make it go full circle. Oh, wait, Scion? Did they swap costumes?
Hashtag full circle. Except Scion's the one. Scion's black suit would be the one that has the cape.
Definitely.
You gotta get if you're putting post-crisis back in the black suit, you have to give him the non-caped black suit.
Yeah, you gotta give him the cape. You gotta give him the capeless suit. You have to.
You can't because he wore it. You gotta do that.
Man, this was a good episode.
Oh wait, to conclude it, when the after the solar flare goes off, for the moment everyone thinks he's dead. Darkseid shows up, or whoever dead the Parademons, and Wonder Woman tears him apart. Like she's summoning lightning because she's the daughter of Zeus. She is completely shellacking him.
Filthy mortal, you dare! Your husband made his own sacrifice. Don't defy me on account of his weakness.
And this only serves to piss off Wonder Woman even more, to the point where she cuts off the head of this avatar.
Yeah, and it's like, holy shit, she killed Darkseid. And then Cyborg goes, how many times do I have to explain it? Apocalypse, New Genesis, 2 constants in the multiverse, which means this avatar was just really, really petty.
And then Wonder Woman goes, fine, I get to kill him again.
We got a pulse.
There you go. Or did you read the Brian Hill, I think, Brian Hitch JLA book?
I did.
Remember when she awakens Clark by shooting lightning into his chest?
Yeah.
She does
That's more of a jumpstart situation.
She could do. Oh, okay. We'll stay with the coma thing, because then we can say Kryptonian healing coma, but no one thinks
because
he's
in case editorial tries to screw us, I'm like, okay, we're just going to shelve Scion. It's a good arc, and then we're just going to put main Superman because of nostalgia. Because we still have to take editorial into account. In the case
we're going to say no, we're going to say we're not doing that.
Yeah, we could leave the book in protest, but someone else is just going to do it.
Someone else. We'll get someone else who is respectful of the fan base to do that. We're not replacing one Superman with another. In fact, you can keep the Lois and Clark book going even after Scion retakes the mantle of Superman to show what are they doing.
Yeah, because you have John, you have the Super Sons, everything's there.
Everything's there. I'm not saying take anything away from the classic fans either. I'm just saying give us this. You can keep like the Lois and Clark book, the Super Sons book. That's totally fine. Look, Superman is slowly quantity of books turning into Batman.
You're going through the comments from yesterday's episode, aren't you?
No, but even with Wonder Woman, we could have like a book for Hippolyta growing up, first with her father in a coma, and then dealing with like the pressures of being the daughter of Superman and Wonder Woman. Well, of Scion and Wonder Woman. But
And I know Nick
Superman.
made a dig at this on COD. I would not ship Damien and Hippolyta together. I don't want to see any of that because I know how you people are online.
No.
No.
Here's the thing. At this point, by the way, Damien is older than Hippolyta, like a lot.
Even if you factor Rebirth, Hippolyta's no more than like 5 or 6.
And like Damien's like, I don't know, in his teens.
Well, he's right at 13 when Rebirth starts.
So that's just creepy, guys. That's just creepy.
Maybe she'll be like a little sister to him, but that's
oh yeah, absolutely a little sister. Even with John, to be clear, same thing with John. Oh, and by the way, the age up never happens. I feel like I have to say
that's
that.
Fair. That's fair.
I feel like I have to say that we're not going to do with these characters. We're never aging them up
because there's no point.
There's no point. It's stupid too.
Unless you're doing like an Elseworld, something like that, where it's just self-contained in a one-off, there is no point.
Or if you want to tell a story that takes place in a possible future. Actually, no, Elseworlds, because I'm against telling stories that take place in the future because it means no stakes. You know those characters are going to live.
Unless you pull Future's End, it's just gory and it's completely unpredictable. But even then...
Which is why I'm like, why is Tom King telling us what's going to happen in the future of the Wonder Woman book?
I feel like a lot... Okay, what happens in promotional material never factors in the final product. It does to an extent if you're counting solicitations, but that's just a basic synopsis.
And with the amount of time DC goes on a direction and changes it, they'll change it.
Not to mention, Trinity will just be a backup story in Wonder Woman. Maybe hopefully she kicks off. But again, she's just going to be considered an Elseworlds character.
I will say, I want her McFarlane figure, hint, hint.
Now... As much as I heckle Jared about Wonder Bat, I would prefer the whole made from clay origin and just go from there. It's in character.
If you have to pick with what you have right now, if you have to pick, just do that.
Just do the made from clay. Just do the made from clay.
Because that way you don't. Yeah,
it's a callback to the Golden Age. It's in character. You don't risk pissing people off with fan expectation. It's the safest option.
And you don't give Steve Trevor more uses than he's worth.
That was a little below the belt. Okay.
No, I know. You don't reward being a stalker, in other words.
Joker, Eobard Thawne, Solomon Grundy.
But they're supervillains. You don't have someone that's labeled a hero being a stalker.
Fair point.
And I'll talk about this on my show with Bricks. You know that's going to come up.
But yeah. I feel like that's a good place to put it. Jared, where can people find you and what you got coming up on the channel?
You can find me as Comics League JT on Twitter, Comics League 2021 on Instagram, and obviously Comics League on YouTube. Tomorrow I have a video coming out talking about the Martha scene from BVS and explaining why it's actually explaining what it actually means beyond like their mothers have the same name, but it's like it's beyond that. And then in terms of Indie Wednesday, I'm talking about Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman's Vanish series. Pretty dope. And in terms of UTC, again, TBD, I will figure out when I'm going to talk about that. Again, Britt and I are going to do a series, and Jheat, you're more than welcome to come on.
Definitely.
Talk about like New 52, Superman and Wonder Woman, clearing up some like misconceptions about both the New 52 and stuff. And we also will, I can confirm this, we will be clarifying a lot of stuff with DCU and such, because YOU, because there's plenty of BS stuff in that.
But okay, we can make an episode out of that if you want.
Yeah.
But everyone like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for joining us. And for next week, let me go ahead and pull up the thumbnail right quick because I think I decided which one we're going to talk about next week. Give me a second.
You're the one that's fine with me, and I vote that after after we do these next two, we do the what if Bendis never came to DC.
Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna happen. That's definitely
I
gonna
can't
happen.
believe we never thought of that.
Right?
We complained about it so long, and we're like, wait a second, that would have way more effects than the Beyond Superman.
Okay, let me just share this right quick.
Oh, and by the way, what you should do, what actually kind of cool is make these episodes into a playlist on YouTube.
Oh, definitely. But I may have to go on your channel to track the original video.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do it. I'll do it. And then yeah, perfect one. Perfect one.
Yeah.
So
Next time,
basically, just to clarify for everyone, these are all in the Scion continuity. It's just these are what are we doing with these other characters?
yeah, because there's character focused ones, and then there's the Scion and New Direction versus continuity. But I'll make a playlist that way; it'll be easier for people to tell. But
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you for everyone joining. Like, comment, and subscribe, and flame off.